this morning with my mind. Staying on Jesus. I woke up this morning with my mind.
Hello, hey everybody. I'm Joey Sparks, reminding you that God's mercies are new once again this morning. Do you remember how Luke opened? Luke chapter 1, the first few verses. Theophilus, there's a lot of people that have written about and recorded some things about Jesus. This is my investigation. This is my research. So that I can have this orderly account, and that when you read it and when you study it, you can have certainty about the things that you've heard. You hear what Luke's saying? Luke is saying that the life of Jesus and the gospel of Jesus is too important to let it rest on the voices of others. It's too important to just take other people's word for it. It's too important to let our faith in Him rest in the loudest voices about Him. With that in mind, fast forward to chapter 23, the end of the gospel account. Jesus has been arrested. There's a mockery of a trial by His own people. And when they pass Him on to Pilate, the Roman official, one of the charges they make against Him is that He was stirring up the people. He stirs up the people throughout the whole kingdom. You go to Galilee all the way down to Judea, He's a people stirrer. He's turning the people against one another. Pilate even repeats this charge back to him and says, "This is what you brought to me, and he is not guilty of it, and your own king, Herod, agrees with that assessment." What do? They respond by getting stirred up. The text says they all cried out loudly together. And when they do that, Pilate has before them this opportunity to release a prisoner because it's Passover. And he tries to throw him a bone. And they eventually cry out enough to say, "We want you to release Barabbas to us." Why is that significant? Well, it's because Barabbas was an actual insurrectionist. Okay, so think about what we've already figured out, or the pieces we're putting out there. They falsely accuse Jesus of being an insurrectionist. He stirs up the people. They take part of their own insurrection by crying out against Pilate in order to release a true, guilty insurrectionist and who killed somebody along the way. Twice in Luke 23, Luke reminds us that Barabbas was an insurrectionist guilty of murder. So what's Pilate do? He's got this choice. He's the voice of justice, the voice of truth, the champion of truth, the one by which the entire Roman Empire depended upon maintaining peace in this part of the world, in Judea. What does he do? Verse 23, they were urgent, demanding with loud cries that he should be crucified, Jesus. And their voices prevailed, and he delivered Jesus over to their will. You hear that? He did the actual, honest, open work of listening and investigating, and he kept figuring out Jesus is not guilty of what they're saying he is. And instead, he gave in to their voices because they were loud, because they were threatening. He delivered an innocent man over to the crimes reserved for a true insurrectionist, a true rebellious spirit in Barabbas. Can I ask you a clear, direct question this morning? Why is it that you believe what you believe about Jesus? Can you say that you've opened up the scriptures for yourself and you've honestly listened to them and decided what you will do with Jesus? Or do you have to admit, I've given too much weight to the voices of certain people, a religious leader, perhaps a family member, or general family beliefs, community beliefs, politically or socially safe beliefs about Jesus? Would you have to admit you've allowed those voices to prevail? Or can you have the spirit of Luke that says, we're going to investigate, we're going to research, we're going to learn for ourselves about Jesus so that we can be certain? Let that be you today. Investigate. Turn to the scriptures. Don't let those loud voices prevail. Instead, be certain based on the evidence. We thank you for taking the time to watch today. It's our prayer that the timeless Word of God will be your meditation all day today.